pause, reset, and reboot. Yes, the crisis that the world is facing today is unprecedented. It's colossal. That's the negative. What's the positive? The positive is that you and me have never had a larger window to devote purely to learning than we have today. And that's why EMA, the Event and Entertainment Management Association of India, is bringing to the event fraternity and audiences at large one initiative after the other to engage, entertain, inspire, motivate, and educate you. We are bringing to you thought leaders from across the expanse of India. We are bringing to you industry captains from within the Indian experiential industry, and we are bringing to you leading performing artists from across India. At 10 a.m, catch us on EMA Stay Fit. At 12:30, it's the Michael Menezes Knowledge Series. At 2 p.m, it's Future Ready Workshops. And at 4 p.m, it's the Future Ready Leadership Series. Remember, it's on the EMA official Facebook page.
Namaskar, dear EMA members.
I think it's a great idea of just putting himself out there.
Are you armed and ready for that race? Well, I'm learning. Are you?
All right, a very good afternoon, everyone. I am Ada and extend to you all a very warm welcome on behalf of EMA, the Event and Entertainment Management Association of India, to EMA's Future Ready Leadership Series. Now, let me begin with 4 lines very quickly. That हाँ सारी महफिल में ऐलान करता हूँ, वो जो दूर बैठा है उससे प्यार करता हूँ, मैं उसे देख तो सकता हूँ पर छू नहीं सकता, फिर भी ये गुनाह है इश्क में बार-बार करता हूँ. This love and zeal that we have for moving ahead has got us all on this platform of learning, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, this long-running battle that we have had with COVID-19, it kind of seems to be longer than what we thought. And yes, industry has come to a screeching pause. But the positive is that this break that we have, we can actually sharpen our axes and build ourselves to push the ceiling to another level. Because in the coming times, when we restart, the pace is going to be unbelievable. And there's only one word that can save us: technology. As you all know, EMA brings together the best of industry leaders and experts in the series of shows, live shows that you're having every day to help us become better professionals. We have Michael Menezes Knowledge Series at 12:30. At 4 p.m, you have EMA Future Ready Leadership Series. Don't forget that one. And right now, where we are is EMA Future Ready Workshop. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have the 13th episode of this series. Today, we are going to look at the future with event tech. Yes, we are going to discuss the 7 key future ideas that can be seen as the prime tech tools in the space of event tech. Joining us, moderating this session is going to be none other than, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vinod Janardhan, the Managing Director, Team Rustic. A very good afternoon, Vinod.
Good afternoon, good afternoon.
And ladies and gentlemen, yes, on the panel is our speaker, the man who is known as the digital visionary in our industry, the co-founder and director of Web Context India, a digital tech agency built around knowledge, capital-based services in the domain of digital media. He holds more than 10 years of a decade of experience in this wonderful field and has a deep interest in the new age media and its integration with technology. Ladies and gentlemen, he recently initiated EventBot Solution, an event tech-focused company that aims to solve events with innovative technology solutions. So, well, without further ado, let's welcome aboard none other than the co-founder, ladies and gentlemen, and the director of Web Context India, Mr. Siddharth Shah. Hi, Siddharth, a very good afternoon.
Hi, Ada, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, a very warm welcome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's begin the session. I'm going to hand over the baton to Vinod.
Thank you, Ada. That's so kind and courteous, as you always are. Well, good afternoon. Welcome back. Welcome to the digital world of EMA. Let me begin by saying now staying at home doesn't mean staying away from the world. This is EMA, and we don't update you, we upgrade you. In today's landscape the digital world seems to be the new fuel for the event industry. And today we have a man who looks ready to have an alternate career in the movies, but he chose to live it out in the domain of technology. So today let's learn the future with event tech. Let's beam him up here. Please go ring your doorbells and wake up as we welcome Mr. Siddharth Shah.
Thank you so much, Vinod. Thank you so much for the kind introduction. So to begin with, as a topic says, the future of event tech, I'll just quickly take you through how we are placed, what we do. So we are a technology company with a core domains around and interest around digital, web and mobile technology and interactive technology. So this forms our kitchen, and out of this kitchen, we produce different services and products for our clients. Event tech is our industry expertise, yes, and we are from the last decade working extensively with different companies and understanding the industry with the all details, and that is why it become our interest plus expertise over the years. So this is the background that I want to share before we start. I'll quickly take you through PPT. I have a PPT ready, and we'll take you through the ideas and things which we can discuss around the topic.
So as you come on, I'm going to say hashtag get started, hashtag success at work, hashtag event tech. Is that what I do?
Yeah. So event is, yes, important. Technology is an important integral part. When we say that we are an event tech, event focused company, in India, currently people consider event tech only around experiential marketing. But it's beyond. When we say global scenario, it's beyond experiential marketing. In fact, in global scenario, people consider event operation software platforms as a prime pillar of event tech, and then everything falls below that. So yes, we divide. When I say event tech, our expertise revolve around two areas: event tech for experiential marketing and brand activations, and event tech for event operations. So I'll quickly take you through the competencies that we have, capabilities that we have around experiential marketing domain. So we talk about web and mobile, IoT, AR, VR, 2D, 3D content, games, SMS, IVR campaigns, touch booth, multi-touch engagement. So these are the capabilities that we possess as of now. NFC, social media integration, whenever there's a brief, physical computing, live streaming, robotics, network displays, 360-degree photos and videos, mechatronics, and projections. So these are as a method and ideology, we consider this as our ingredients. And whenever there's a brand brief, we mix these ingredients for a brand activation exercise and create experiences for the audience and the users. So that is how we understand brand activation, and that is how we deliver brand activation. So when I talk about event operations, so our operations in the event revolve around the offering that we revolve around event registration and ticketing with detailed analytics. So why, when a large scale IPs and the events grow beyond a scale, and where Book My Shows of the world can't adjust them with their predefined structure, they require more specialized services, specialized offering, and that is where we get into the picture. So we design event registration and ticketing right from the online to the on-spot delivery, and basically fits well to the IPs and the bigger event companies with the bigger IPs, where the existing platform are unable to solve their business problem. Second, on the operation front, we have a cashless payment solution. So we create a closed group cashless environment in an event, very similar to a food court that we see. But as we say, event doesn't have a timeline to deploy a complex infrastructure and a finances and the fund to deploy a complex infrastructure of screens and the overall network and the servers. So R is like very plug and play system, wherein you can create any zone into a cashless environment. It offers a lot to an event organizer, because you can then not only manage the cash flows happening and make a benefit out of the overall transition happening in the event, you can add multiple layers, because now internationally, if you talk about any big event, there's a new concept, one chip for everything. So you enter with your hand, with the band with a chip on it, that act as a ticket also, that acts as control also, that act as a payment solution also, that act as a engagement tool also during the event. So that is the environment that we give to the event organizers. Then another thing is software solutions. Whenever there's IP, they face different business challenges. We understand the business challenges and we solve it through a software or an application. Example, it could be as simple as how I can manage 500 volunteers at an event, or as simple as how I can manage complex transportation in my own scenario, or how I can manage the hospitality. So these are the when we understand the business problem and solve it. Event automation, RFID, and the interactive kiosk are the things that again fall into the same domain of event operation. So these are the quick capabilities that I want to talk about. Moving ahead, we are here to talk about the future with event tech. And yes, as you know.
Can I hold you there for a minute?
Yes.
Why is event tech such a big deal?
Big deal in a current scenario and an overall scenario?
In the current scenario, because that's exactly what we would like to take this.
So obviously we will be entering into a very different world. And as of now, the only medium in the last 20-25 days, the EMA is connected is only because of the technology. Technology should be seen as an infrastructure that is there for and fits well to all the industries. Wherever we have the problem, technology should not be considered as an industry. It's an infrastructure that is there for all the industries. Just like that, you have a CAs for financial advisors and the lawyers. Technology is required for everyone, and in the current times, it becomes more relevant because that is the only route and the most clear route that we can see, considering the times ahead and the complex times ahead once we are out of our homes.
So that the question that comes to me is, technology is not only a great enabler, but it's also a great leveler. So it can level us down too. So, if I wouldn't like to trade right now and say there are several companies which are software driven and tech driven who now control event companies, or are actually walking in the domain space of event industry, the gambit of products that we have. But, if I went back to a slide that you were showing those 10 things that we could do together there were a few lines, and I'm sure there are a few questions that popped on quickly. And that's why I'm asking you is, how do you control manpower? How does that work? How does tech be available to handle manpower or the transportation that you mentioned?
So when I say it fits well to establish IP, so when you have already delivered a show for, let's say, 5 years or 6 years, and you establish and you know your processes very clear, and you know the challenges behind managing the processes. Once that is clear, and while you are working rightly on Excel, and when the Excels become impossible to manage, that is the idea and the indication that you would now require a tool to manage the show. Yes, manpower, imagine how chaotic and impossible it is if you have a IP with 300 or 400 plus volunteers. A single circular, let's say a single notice, a single change you want to communicate to everyone become very complex. Their attendance become very complex. Their reimbursements become very complex. Their tracking become very complex. Their KRA become very complex. So in the application wherein imagine an application which have a pre-built videos tutorial, which will let's say in animated form, which we have done it with in few examples. So in an animated form, explain the clear job role of a volunteer, because you are in your 10th year of execution or like 5th year of execution, you know it all. But the volunteer who is coming is for the first time, and the user and the client that is coming doesn't expect that you are dealing with the people who are coming for the first time. They expect a clear, neat delivery. So yes, problem statement is equal to can result into a good solution.
So when you talk about event technology, how does one go about finding the best event technology, just to begin with?
I think we are exposed to a lot of like technology, and digital is one area wherein might it come very natural interest to everyone. Unlike, let's say, finance, or unlike, let's say, legal affairs, it comes very natural to everyone. And a lot of people have a basic understanding and a level of understanding with all the features and ingredients available around technology in your own respective field. How to go about it, that I think we need to clearly define, like any other, we need to clearly understand what we require from technology, and out of all the tools available, which one tool would be the best tool to solve that problem, or let's say a combination of few tools can solve that problem. So that is how we should see technology, and it can be done. It doesn't require expertise all the time. A good observer around technology, a person who has a good interest around technology, who is well updated with the international affairs, internationally what is happening, can also design their own way ahead. But yeah, it should be very clear what you want. Most of the time, what mistakes that we do, that we try to put up certain ingredients that we love to have in our plate, and that end up mixing overall solution. But I think it should be reversed.
Okay, quickly taking a cue from you there, can we monitor gas movement then with the chips? Because that's what
Yes.
we're going to face now. So
Yes, in our exhibition environment, there, like, the work has been done, especially in the Middle East area, because that is the zone, Middle East and Hong Kong zone, wherein there is a lot of exhibition, much large scale exhibition are happening, wherein you can track the overall, you can heat map, draw the heat map of all the users that are coming. There are multiple ways. Yes, none of them are 100%, but if you even reach the 90% or 85% accuracy, it's a brilliant data to have. So you know, in a exhibition environment, which section of the exhibition is high on demand, then you can resell in the next year in a much better way. You know how to design your overall floor plan. So those are the things that can help as a tracking the movement of the user.
So there are still questions just pouring in everywhere here on Facebook, and I'm picking up a few. I saw a few questions. Will it help in the COVID-19 scenario, or to keep track of virus? I know you're going to take that up a little ahead in your slides, but I want to ask you one question before I let go off with your presentation. Is how do Indian tech companies, and this I'm really tempted to ask, Sandeep, a friend of mine, has made me ask this, how do Indian tech companies compare to their friends internationally?
Indian tech companies, like, you are as good as your customers. So yes, we as a industry, we are in rush. We have limited budget. We want to do what is happening internationally. We want to gain those brownie points with the most popular available solution in our offering. So these are the things that are challenging, but things are changing rapidly. And yes, because of the COVID, a lot of things would be imposed to us, wherein which would change the way we think and execute our event. So overall, if I answer to your question, how good event tech in India, as I mentioned in my slide also, is more considered towards experiential side. Operation side, I don't think so. How many of us are using event management tools or other platforms to manage our events? But at the same time, these tools and platforms are superbly popular internationally. So you can imagine how we function and how the internationally other event organizers function. So our functioning is a bit different. Our challenges are different. Yes, and that results to overall ecosystem, and we are the part of the ecosystem. So we are as good as our clients.
Okay, so user friendliness, ROI, clarity, and probably AI, personalization. All these questions are going to come and hit you, but I will not make you ask those questions. I mean, answer those questions now. Please go ahead with the presentation, and then I think
sure. So I'll try to set the context first. So let's consider what interesting happened in the very recent past. So when I say future, we'll talk about the future in the interim times. And according to me, what would be the interim time? So it would be our post-lockdown and before the world would become normal again. So this is the future that we're going to talk, because that is something which is very uncertain, and we don't know how the world would look like on 4th of May, and how we will going to function, how we will going to enter our offices, how our offices will look like, and these are very basic things, and event and other things are like way beyond our imagination. So yes, this is the interim time, and it's a very uncertain and unclear time. It's a new world. Imagine that we all together landed to a Mars, and we now need to define our own new ways of functioning in the Mars. So let's say most interesting event happening in the recent COVID times. Everybody knows Dubai drive-through testing center. Amazing example. It solves the problem and make a global noise. A lot of people started adapting the same model. According to me, it was a brilliant piece of work as a conceptualization of a let's say event and solving a larger problem. Imagine a same brief would flow to India once the time we'll enter into an interim time. And imagine 10 out of like our 700 companies or 20 out of 700 companies would be engaged only managing this for next 1 year, or let's say 6 months or 3 months, whatever times that we have in the interim times. So amazing piece of event, I'll consider. Another one, Dome India converted the overall exhibition center into a quarantine center. Another brilliant example how brilliantly, like, yes, it has, the client is always would always be a government at these times, but execution can only be managed by the managers and the expert in the areas. I don't think so. Collector and his office, or let's say Chief Minister office, personally got involved while putting this thing up without the help of an event organizer. It is nearly impossible because we are the industry expert, and nobody else can solve this as quickly as we can. And my personal favorite in this time was Germany drive-through screening happened on 30th March. Brilliant example of an event in the COVID times. These are times I'm talking about the completely pure lockdown times, and somebody innovate the same old idea, but somebody innovated it and see the world differently and solve it very brilliantly. So key takeaways in the eventful time, face of the event would change, but event would never stop. And I think this is the key takeaway. This is how we should. This should be the key statement when we start become functional in our interim times. Yes, our face would change. Maybe a event organizer, or let's say a wedding organizer, is managing something else as a community engagement. But yes, they would be involved here and there. And there's no way we can sail this time without managing interesting event, maybe as a necessity or as a luxury. But we just can't sail it, the interim times, without events around us. So, in our slide, I'm talking about 7 event tech arms that would help the event companies in the interim times. The key 7 things, which according to me, according to us, according to my colleagues, would be the key factors, and we can use as an arm when we go into our interim times and design our own events, work over the brand brief, and how we can change our offering, change ourselves to sail the times ahead, because there is no way we can wait for the normal times again. Nobody knows how much time it's going to take. Good part is our ingredients, as we say, our core competencies are relevant, which is event conceptualization and management. All we need to do is to change our menu card, our front face. And once that is done, we are there. There are industries which are 100% hard hitted. Somebody is 80%, somebody is 30%. But across the board, everybody have to change and adapt according to the change times. And for the change time and the interim times, I'll start with the first offering. VOD and OTT. cooled the very interesting terms. As an industry, as India, we are sitting exactly somewhere in 2009 or 2008 when e-commerce knocked the doors of India, when a small companies start populating their own e-commerce stores, and later the market got aggregation happens, and then the big players take up the market, and we are sitting at 2020 now. But for OTT, it's a beginning. In the case of e-commerce, it happened bottom up. In the case of OTT, it would happen top down. So consider that Netflix, our Amazon Prime, our Z8 have taught us how to consume and pay for the content that we want to consume as a pull. And that has taught us another interesting. COVID times also made us very comfortable consuming the content through a screen. I don't see a day wherein there's a number of events are not happening across all the subjects. So the consumption become high. Therefore, content would sail in the times ahead. So when we plan OTT, what are the key fundamentals? When let's say you want to plan your own OTT in a different form for you, for your client, or you want to aggregate certain competencies and make a marketplace of those competencies as a OTT platform, there are multiple things that you can do. It's a day zero for our on this ground in India. You can capture as much as you can, as crazy as you can. So the first fundamental, do you and your client belongs to a special interest community? So when I say special interest, yes, it would be stupid if you go a common entertainment zone and try to compete with Netflix of the world. But when we have a special community, a dance, a yoga, maybe education sector, or maybe let's say IMA live session can, with the kind of value that they are bringing in, can also go OTT form, and it could become a regular affair. And an amazing example across the different industries, how you can educate and keep the industry up with times with the content. The second fundamental is is your content premium enough that user would pay and would ready to pay for? So if the two fundamentals are rightly placed, and if you have already had some experience or zero experience, doesn't matter. You can always sail the boat. When I say OTT, it doesn't stop to your mobile app, which is Android and iOS. It goes beyond mobile app, and it has been largely consumed on a TV across the globe. So people are largely using Roku TV, and Roku TV have an amazing marketplace and a store wherein you can download the special interest content, pay, and consume it over the TV. India is becoming very popular with Amazon Fire TV. Apple TV become very, very active in last 6 months, and they have a huge pocket on the content already with them. So obviously they will find their own space with time. So yes, your OTT would go beyond your mobile app and the web. It would reach to your different screens, and your stupid box would become an interesting box with time. Examples, this is a company called Stage Network. So they aggregate stage content, stage and theater content plus music over. So they shoot over in an empty theater. They produce that content in a studio and put it over an OTT platform. So anybody over the subject interest, imagine that your RK Studio on your mobile, you can still go to your RK Studio in the interim times and enjoy the theater. The theater has its own charm, and the theater lovers would love it. So OTT, a special interest OTT. Another example. Another is a Timely TV. So anybody like this belongs to a dance enthusiast and an amazing dancer, backed by some amazing dancers. They gave a content wherein you can take the classes of dance online. Something very similar Madhuri Dixit is also doing, but her platform her platform is also paid. She made it very open in these times. So imagine any artist in our today can take a certain example and they can collaborate or maybe like make a marketplace over a subject wherein they can create a premium content and sell it online. Another example, see, when I say special interest content, so a special interest group, imagine your medical lectures, all the companies who are managing pharma, you can pick up a subject or maybe like a broad subject line and start getting doctors, because doctors community function over the knowledge transfer, and you become a sole one-stop solution for all the possible knowledge in the form of video, and the music videos are the most consumed form factor for any kind of knowledge. So another good example for a OTT, which we can use in our as a execution with our clients or maybe like as an individual. Second point is live webcasts and webinars already flooded. It's working. It has been accepted throughout India, throughout the globe. Lady Gaga's reached to a level wherein she has done a amazing concert online. In India, there are a lot of examples of going concert online. So people now ready to consume content through webcasts and webinars. Webcast was always popular. Webinar picked up really well in the COVID times, and it will gonna stay now. So even in the form wherein even if your event is live, imagine that after some time you are living in a normal world and your event has been delivered offline, but there would be a part of it which would be available online, and it would be must to have that you preserve your content online. So yes, people can produce webinar and live webcasts from their own devices and home, but with time and more demand, professionally managed live webcasts and webinars would starting getting into the shape and getting into the requirement. So what is professionally managed live webcast? What we can do ourselves and what the professional services would help us. So try to understand that. So what is professionally managed? So remotely managed, backed by a virtual studio for a professional level production. So your pre-roll, post-roll, your tickers, your name tags, your logos, your show would look very professional, maybe like a background when you go professional level live webcast. Obviously, it for a small show doesn't make sense, but if you are going professional with a client brief, wherein a client wants to involve a large audience, it need to go on a professional level. Second point, option to put online gate of pre-registration and payment gateways. So yes, in times I have already seen in India, like you wouldn't believe, like in India, there are shows which start charging for the webinar now, because people now start understanding the value behind it. And for 100 rupees donation or 200 rupees ticket, nobody will say no to consume a 1 hour brilliant show or 2 hours brilliant show. Customized webinar platform would also come with a professionally managed services. So let's say you want to design your own window with a poll, your separate poll or chat, closed room chat box or a Q&A bot. So you can design your own stuff, and that will become a customized platform. And fourth point, like the webinar Gyan, like the webinars are going beyond Gyan sessions. It's a community involvement activities and the engagement happening. Last 20-25 days, Snapdeal has done brilliant work in their own to engage their HR. And they have delivered 5 to 6 innovative ways to engage through webinars. Brilliant HR activity. So imagine an HR activity going live or engaged through a webinar. So those kind of examples. Yes, a similar thing happened recently. Mankind involved all the doctor community and their MR community online, and they tried to build a entertainment show calling Sonu Nigam and Sunil Grover. It was a brilliant show, 2-3 hours of show, and almost saw 4,000 plus people attending at different points, live webcast. Yes, all the formats are going live, and that is the world that we live in. GLF with the Brave New World has gone online. Amazing attraction from across the world. People were waiting for the something like this, and amazing engagement. TEDx is doing a show every fourth day, with an amazing set of speakers. So this format has been accepted widely. We are comfortable with the format. Yes, what layer we can add? Professional layer to produce the content more brilliantly. Virtual event, widely talked. That's the first keyword. I think if I'll even reverse check Google keywords around these times, so I think the virtual event would be one of the highest searched keyword by any event organizer.
So,
but yes, there's a.
Can I hold you before you go to the virtual events?
Yes.
Well, most of us sit here and think that webinars is all that is to event tech, and that's all that is to what we are going to see. So you are actually trying to now take us and pull us in some other direction. You're saying there is more beyond the webinars and the web tech.
Exactly. One of my example, like let's say you belong to MICE as an industry, you have meeting in conferences, you are major production, like major events revolve around those areas. I see no reason that any company with that direction for meeting and in conferences can't go virtual in coming 1 year, for that matter. So whatever you produce online, offline, can be produced in a different form. Obviously, you can't have the same experiences, but you can still create value. If not 100%, but you can still create value, and your show would keep on going. With the normal time, the same virtual event would become a hybrid event, and I think there's no way that people would not plan a hybrid event in a normal time once we enter into a normal time.
Okay, there is a question by Sri, and Sri Jyoti is of the opinion that adaptation of this event tech to the lowest bottom is a big challenge. How does one go about that obstacle race?
So most of the solutions are ready. Like these are platform-based solutions. Yes, whenever we use a platform, we need to say no to certain of our requirement. And if we are, and these are the requirements which are like very, let's say somebody wants a very specific way to offer subscription. So we can say no, considering the whatever is available to us. So the solution that I've talked about as of now, these are a easy solution, and anybody can adapt in coming days with a, let's say 1 week or 2 weeks of work on it. You can adapt the technology, and you can start functional, become functional. So there is no hype. These are very good to go technology solutions.
I need to address Karismaran, that if I got the name right, Karsimran Singh. Sorry Karsimran, this is an English format. हम हिंदी का उच्चारण नहीं कर रहे हैं यहाँ, लेकिन I hope we are slow and आप समझ रहे हैं कि हम आपसे आपको ये टेक्नोलॉजी ले आके दे रहे हैं. So I think moving on, if we could just go on with the new tech. From webinars, you're trying to move us now to AR and VR, but with that rider that I need to tell you that we have seen enough of AR and VR in the real world there. And now you're going to tell us that this is going to come in this world here. Is that what it is?
So can I take it up?
Yes, please.
The next slide. Yeah,
yes.
Thank you. So virtual events. So as I say, it's like a widely searched term in these days, and there's a clutter of information. So I don't want to add any information. Everybody knows a bit about it. I just want to try to declutter our virtual event Gyan. So these are the online platform with the core features similar to an offline event. Imagine you add more layers to your webcast or more layers to your webinar in terms of features. And when you add more layers, something like a networking zone or a multi-session area or a conference information exchange zone. So when you add more layers, the webinar become virtual event, or a simple webcast become virtual event. Yes, it's not necessary that a virtual event need to have a webinar or a webcast. It is one of the features, but and a virtual event can also run on a VOD. But it's a mix of 7, 8, 12 features. And when you combine them according to your requirement, it becomes a virtual event. So reproduction of all in-person event in a digital environment on web. Trying to comprise all real-life physical engagement that people do at an event like networking and session. Virtual is a pure online platform-driven event. Yes, when you mix it with the physical, we call it hybrid. It need not to have, yes, this is one of the most important thing, and people, whatever discussion I had in recent past, people think that only a 3D design simulation or a AR VR integrated event is only virtual event. No, these are the add-ons. These are cherry on the cake. Yes, you can also go 2D simulation webcast, 2D simulation virtual event without any AR VR integration. These are the options to build on the base. It's not a necessary option, but we can always add on over it to make the event look more finished, bring more interactivity. Virtual event could be a good arm for MICE in the interim time. Like trade shows, I don't see a reason that trade shows, conferences, sales meeting, expos, job fairs are not going virtual. So if you are not doing it, I think we are just comfortable in our shell. Otherwise, there is no reason that it can't go virtual. And more importantly, the consumer starts accepting the fact, yes, if somebody would have come to me that attend Imagine virtually, I would rather prefer, obviously, nobody will prefer a virtual event over a physical event. But if I have a limitation of travel and the time, I would still love to visit 3 sessions or key mark 4 sessions virtually and meet 3 to 4 people, which I wanted to do whenever there's a next Imagine happening. So that's all a bit of purpose. It's not 100%.
So Siddharth, you're saying that if EMA wants to do the next EMAX or Imagine and let it go virtual, this is possible.
100%. 100%.
And to that scale, the scale of 500,000 people coming from the industry over 2 days, and
any scale. So that's the beauty of digital, that you can reach to any scale. And yes, you might have attract international partners if you go virtual, which we are unable to do when we do offline event. So it closes certain avenues, but it opens a lot of avenues. So yes, overall report card would look similar.
So you're saying that which means there could be participants who could come in there, attendees come in there with avatars. They come in and they sit in the rooms and they talk to people. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. Like I want to meet Mr. Deepak, and I fix up appointment. He's available at that particular time. I can meet him. The registration process would be similar. Then you enter a zone A, zone B, zone C. There's a overall content flowing in the different zone according to the subject. Yes, food would be a home cooked food. You would not get a hotel stuff. That is the difference that we can't do. But rest of the core component, and yes, evening parties would be a big miss. But yes, to an extent we'll reach there.
So other than ghar pe khana padega, the rest can be done. So taking a cue with that, I am definitely making that EMA is definitely going to look forward to making a virtual event online this year for EMAX and Imagine. Take it away.
Brilliant. So moving ahead, I'll show you how it can look like. Yes, these are the options. So you can create a very simple one image which gives you an idea that you are in a lobby. You enter into a room 1 or room 2, or let's say you then pick up the option to go through a touch screen. There could be a interactive engagement that can engage you and build up and engage you with the brand as a sponsors. So all that is possible, but the core, like when you see a virtual event, what core it brings in, when you consume, when there's a session and a knowledge transfer happening, that can still flow. Your networking can still flow. You can still meet your old friends in this time. So yes. So how a room can look like. There's a speaker, and then there's a left side, there's a presentation going on. You feel like that you are sitting. It can be a 3D simulated, but not necessary. It can be a simple 2D simulation also, wherein you can feel and get the feel of the overall hang of the overall event. Moving ahead, brand initiative apps and the problem solving apps. Imagine you have a client A, B, C, D, and they have now, you can't do much for them in a brand engagement, but the client still wants to, and since we are the endpoint to connect with our key, connect the brand versus the customer. So brand would still wants to spend, if not 100%, at least 40%, 60%. So what ideas we can pitch into them? So yes, think digital. Whenever there's a new brand brief, we need to think digital first, and how we can bring the same engagement and solve the similar problem through an app or a digital initiative. So I'm overall talking about how you can build up an app or a digital initiative to still bring the brand engagement. Example, a sampling drive can go digital, as simple as that. So yes, it would be not similar to the previous time, but you can still achieve something. Imagine that you go into the ideation and you design a clinic in the car and bringing doctors to your doorstep when the car has been booked in an Uber way. Yes, everybody's scared to go to hospital these days, and you design a campaign with maybe Kia or MG or whomsoever is relevant to the brand brief, and bringing the clinic to your doorstep while booking an appointment through an app. Yes, you can insert amazing AR, VR engagement, but I think it should when we add AR, VR engagement, it should be add as a lead hero and not a item song. When I say lead hero, so it should solve AR or VR as a key competencies, like should solve a problem. Imagine example, let's say you want to order a sofa and you place it at the corner of your room. So that solves the purpose, but not that it's just adding some fun to overall application. So I'm not broadly talking about AR, it's much AR, VR in this presentation, but we need to see whenever we add AR, VR, it's a key term, it's a hep term, it's a cool term to add, but we need to, whenever we add these competencies, we need to add this as a lead hero and not as a item song. So few example, yes, Arogya Setu is one of the key example, government initiative, but solving a problem. Two biggies, Google and Apple came together and solving a problem through app. Then which will they'll launch the first phase, which will they'll launch very soon. So you can design the way Coke always do brilliant initiative and then they align the brand accordingly. You can do a brand initiative exercise and align and solve a problem at the same time. Yes, brilliant brief and brilliant brief I got from UK recently, wherein they want to do a Pokemon Go treasure hunt type of brief with their brand in the coming days. So wherein it would be a treasure hunt for a brand, wherein you need to track the items of the brand in different places, and it doesn't require any interaction, but yes, another engagement app. Similar example, I'm talking about how you brilliantly use AR and not for fun, but for problem solving. So yeah, moving on to the next point, most interesting and it will change the way we function. We like it or not, most of us already bought Google, Amazon Dot and Google Home devices. At the Silicon Valley level, all the companies are investing heavily. They see post-mobile device, which is now available to everyone, what pie they can get from the market, and everybody is gambling big on our voice managed integrated devices. And this and amazing work is happening around Google Alexa skills and Google Home skills. So I'll take you through what
Can
are
I
the
hold you
Google-
before you go to that slide, Siddharth? Because there are several questions from the past. And
Yes.
just like a blast from the past that I'm getting through. Okay. A question back on that virtual reality and the conferences. So how much time does it take? I have these questions on Facebook where Bhavin and Aarti have been asking me that how many people, like you said, 500 people if you have to do, how much time does it take to make a virtualization product like that? Is it like a plug and play? It's ready. I have a room of 500 and I just get people in and it's on.
100%. It's a plug and play. There are platforms which are already available, and if you want to do custom, Indian companies are already always ready to do cover the custom requirements. So if you don't want to do custom level, there are platform available. You can go directly. Yes, they are in high demand these days, but you can go plug and play directly. Keep it simple in the initial days so that you and your customer also get a hang of it, and add layers. So don't try to do a perfect launch. Do a interim launch and just launch it, and keep on adding layers once you run the show with time. So ready to go, I think.
Layers like we can give awards and certificates in between to the participants. That's possible.
Yes.
It's
yes.
possible now.
Not possible now. It's a custom requirement.
Okay. And in between, we can get Ada to come and perform. So that's also possible.
That is possible.
Okay, this sounds more interesting now. Now, having said this, how much time does it take for us to build such a thing?
So if you go on a ready platform approach, you can launch an event in 7 to 10 days time, preparation time. But the platform is only one part of it. When you do a digital event, the content is the king, and content is always the king. So it depends on, obviously, it will consume less time as compared to conceptualizing and creating the content of the event. So this is a parallel activity. By the time you are ready with your content, you can really run the show. So it would take less time than the conceptualization and content creation for the show.
So I think your answers Dharmender Sonavne's question that this is going to be just like a movie. It's like a ready plug and play player. We just go in, VR, AR. I can see someplace we still have other performing there. And that means that you're not getting out of business, and neither are we. We are also going to be there. Events are going to be still working in this platform. So how does one go about taxation? I think that's going to be a big question. Sri Jyoti Valevati has asked that question. How do we go about taxation? Because there is this things like we have, I don't know whether you have ever been posed this question. There are questions like GST, does it?
SGST,
Yeah. And then there is things like for PPL, IPRS, music content on this. So has that ever affected you with tech, and people say, oh, your tech is expensive?
Not really. Like I can't really comment on the IP side. Never faced a situation like this, except when you do something on YouTube and the established platform use them, and then they block you if you use the IP centric content. But you can, I can't comment really on, I'm not an expert on the IP side, but on the taxation side, all the transaction would happen online. Your payment gateway, if you're receiving the money from India, yes, you are good to go, as simple as you receive it offline. When you receive the payment through international modes, they are not all the payment gateways support the international payment. There are certain payment gateways that support the international payment gateway payments. And there's a procedure then how you declare and how take a reverse GST, how you file the GST and how you take a reverse GST, because any international remittance is GST free, but you still have to fill up the GST and then take a reverse entry over that. So there is a procedure. It's a very systematic world out there for the payment world. So it wouldn't trouble on the payment part. Yeah. Yes, you can't in India. Indian payment gateway doesn't allow subscription fees. So whenever you're designing something on a subscription level, so Indian and RBI says that you can't hold the card and take money month on month. So whenever you have that format, you have to take a international payment route. because none of the Indian payment gateways would allow you that.
Which is probably why all the OTT and VODs
Yes.
are abroad,
Yes.
including the Indian companies.
Yes.
So tax aspects, I think there will be there still at the GST level, and I think there would be a PPL if there is music or whichever way it put together. So a big question on the Facebook that is going live there. There are questions like, how much does it cost to put such a thing together?
Which part?
The VR for 500, AR VR for 500 people.
So VR is a customization offering. Like a VR would always cost you high because whenever you design a VR, it's always custom for you, custom built, custom designed, customly only done for you. You can't use the previously worked and previously done code to create that and use that content. So VR and AR would be a costly affair. If you do, let's say, a webinar or a 5 layers or 6 layers virtual event with the basic features like networking, Q&A, polls, and sessions and live session and VOD, these are not very costly because these are the platform readily available. You just plug in and you are one of the 1,000 customers, and since the same code is shared with 1,000 people, the cost is not that high. So that is why I have like VR, AR is like brilliant thing. I am personal, these are my personal favorite, but I have my own reservation when it comes to going that level in a situation where we have a limited budget and execute an event, still execute an event.
Okay, so that was a good duck. I know you didn't want to tell the price there, but I get the drift. I mean, would I be boisterous if I tell that this should be somewhere in the earmark of $400?
Yes, I was about to say that, like starting from, let's say, $300 to $1,000 and $1,500, you are good to go to host an event. Minus if you are seeking a very large level of audience, because when you see a large level of audience and large traffic, the server cost goes high. Otherwise, in a normal event, starting from $200, $300 till $500, $1,500 would be a good number to host anything.
Okay, so that makes it interesting. You have just gone into the devil's place. $200 if you start with, you know how we event managers are, we're going to renegotiate and renegotiate. So let me take you ahead. Please go ahead with the presentation.
Yes. So something very new, picking up really, really fast. I think newest feature in the newest addition in the technology world, and not much being explored in India. What are skills? So when Alexa skills are like apps. So we don't call it mobile apps. The way you call it mobile app as a mobile app, you call whenever the application sits over a devices like Alexa and the Google Home, you call it skills. Skills are voice-driven Alexa capabilities. You can add Alexa skills to your eco and bring products and services to life. I talked to a few people from Amazon, and I know it all. Like they just give me some light that how aggressive Amazon and Google is in these areas. By and large, I think most of the devices has reached to your homes by now, and if not, it would definitely gonna reach your home, even if they have to sell it free. And once it is reached to your home, it would be another device, just like a mobile, available to you. It would change the way we function. And on a fundamental level, if any technology can change the way we function, it's a big hit. Example, let's say Uber as a technology that changed the way we live. Swiggy has changed the way we live. So Alexa and the skills, the voice command applications will change the way we live. You might see in the coming years that your kid is typically getting complete tuition over a subject through Alexa. So the crazy things are happening around that. But yes, whenever there's a new technology, brands are the first consumers of the technology. They want to leverage it. Yes, Domino's is always ahead to leverage any technology. With Domino's skills, you can build new orders from scratch, place most recent orders, or check your order status. So imagine that ease, a voice command, you're sitting at your drawing room and then you're ordering a pizza without moving. It's happening. These are living examples that I'm talking about. Johnny Walker created an app just to be there. So imagine they have created an application wherein the skill invites user to explore nearly 2 centuries of whiskey knowledge with 4 different options. You can choose a label, buy a bottle, get a history, or order a whiskey. History around the Johnny Walker and order a whiskey. So all sitting at a home. City, not another, it's a brand initiative, not a direct use of an application, but they created an application wherein the financial services company use the skills to search the thousands of the live events all across the country. So let's say there's an application sponsored by your brand, wherein you can find a music concert happening around, or maybe you can find the nearest doctor, or whatever you are searching, and as a functionality through Google, it will go on a voice. And voice, surprisingly and interestingly, has reached to all levels of our society. So search is mostly popular on mobile, and on mobile, majority of search happens around voice command. So who are giving these voice commands are blue collar people, are employees around us who are people. They are people who are less educated or not educated. They are using voice very comfortably, and if they are comfortable with the voice command, that means it has already reached the masses. 6. My second last
before
point.
you go, we have some more questions on that part, and this one is from my friend S. Ramakrishnan, and he wants to know whether with these voice commands, can there be customization? Can event companies, I mean tech companies like you, or are there any similar companies who can do customization with, say, the Amazons or the Googles of the world for a product of theirs, or probably punch in something?
100%. So the ecosystem and the environment Amazon and Google and Apple are providing, they are not restricting the platform to certain developers and to themselves. It's open to the world. You can play around the canvas, design whatever you want to design. You can go as crazy as possible. Imagine like if you have IPL as a client in the coming days or coming times, the kind of wonders that you can do around a cricket as a subject with Alexa, or IPL as a subject with Alexa, or maybe like a car brand. If you have a client, amazing, interesting things can happen around that brand, a car brand. So these are the tools. You can go wild with those tools and think anything under the sky.
Okay. There's one more question on Facebook, which is asking, what is the latest technology that closes the gap between the virtual world and the physical world? Anything that you would like to comment
My
on?
personal take is when I see and be connected, whatever I consume from Silicon Valley, I think it's voice command. Voice command and facial recognitions are the 2 hot areas which will gonna expand, unlike the failed experiments like Google Glasses and another one. So these will gonna stay for long, and you will see wonders around these 2 areas.
All right. I know time is not on our side, so I'll keep let you
I'll
go.
quickly close the remaining 2 topics. So tech savvy events. So when I say tech savvy events, the event when we enter into interim times, the event would not look same. And yes, we will still have the permissions, but our event would require more technical solutions to execute the event. Few examples, like obviously we'll get a new SOPs and guidelines for government, even if whenever the time will become near to normal, whenever government will open, I think the clear indication would come when government will allow weddings to happen, or allow us to go into the cinema hall or go into the mall. I think that would be the time where an event will start floating, but they will float it with a different SOPs and guidelines, and I think it would require a lot of new technology. A few examples are there: automated hand sanitizer, automatic temperature detection kiosk, or let's say a glasses with a temperature IR measure, wherein you can see the person walking in what is he fall into the high temperature zone or not. So yes, you require a lot of interesting new innovative solutions to execute a tech event. My favorite example, another one, let's say you design a drive-through movie screening. Now you require a lot of technology to execute something like this. You would require a closed network FM transmission, wherein whatever your car stereo would become the movie sound. Yes, you would require a very automated system of registration and parking. Yes, you would require very automated system for ordering food. The food that would come in your packet and hospitality would have their own SOPs. So, so any event would have multi layers of technology, and the technology solution that we have already existing solution, we need to add more layers to those solutions to execute an event. My last point, yes, brand engagement side, the event side, yes, you can still involve your brand into a brand engagement exercise. Your offline to offline engagement would go online to online engagement. Few examples. What would be the form factors of online to online brand engagement? So let's say a mini brand game or a swipe up game that we see in Instagram, or a Facebook Spark AR engagement. So your brand would still spend. You can still create an engagement exercise. All you need to look around the tools that are available across the board and design the offering accordingly. Few examples, amazing things are happening. There's a large world that consumes this content, and it works really well. Yes, that would be it.
And that's your coordinates. Maybe you can let it be there for a minute for people to gather, and they can connect with you. In the meanwhile, I can read some few questions which I can plug in there. Oh, your share screen didn't come through.
Yes.
There it is for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's Siddharth at webcontext.com. His coordinates are 9829 333 100. And there is his LinkedIn profile. So Siddharth, going ahead, what kind of bandwidths are we talking? Because that is going to be such a brilliant, I think that's a brilliant question from Bhavin also. What kind of bandwidths do we need? Today, when we run a webinar or of sorts, especially on Zoom, it's so hungry. People sitting in mofussil areas, I know some of you are going to laugh on this. They're going to be just not having any bandwidth.
So I'll tell you, like on a webinar front and the video consumption front, all the tools are optimized for a minimum bandwidth. This work has been done 5 years back, or let's say 6 years back by YouTube, and everybody follows the same route. We can run the show, run the video on any kind of bandwidth as comfortably as possible. So on that front, bandwidth is not an issue. If you add a complex layer like AR, VR, and it requires certain configuration of the system and a mobile to run a smooth show, and requires certain bandwidth. So again, that's why my reservation comes when it comes to AR, VR in these times. So otherwise, rest all of the tools are like optimized. These are coming from, these are designed for a global audience, which have all kind of bandwidth. So yeah.
There is another question that coming in from a few people, and especially Arun, which says that content and creativity, IT, all these guys are aligning together and they're all working together. So there is an industry being formed within the event industry. But what happens to teams of operations and productions, because they are working on these activation works, and will they all survive with these digital platforms? So the question maybe is, are you creating technologies which will take these guys out of the job?
If you think that these are the easy thing to manage, you would require people. No, it's like, if these are not easy things to manage, you would require a complete engine and the system to run the shows like these. Yes, the job role of each and every one, right from individual to the companies, would change. You can't stick to the same job role and the same offering in the interim times. So it's also applicable to the people. It's also applicable to the individual, to the companies. So, but when you say people will go jobless, no, there would be more jobs. There would be, the offering would change. Our video team would still be involved. Our content team would still be involved, maybe like more than previous times. Our production team would change the production from offline mode to the online mode. The way Deepak ji is running the show every day with IMA Live. So it requires a lot of involvement. It requires a bandwidth. It requires a team. It requires an engine. So it can't be done. And more importantly, when you design an event, it will require a lot of marketing so that you can have a consumer to consume your event. So and these are very simple marketing, but that require people to execute the prescription of the marketing.
Okay, same question, same achar, different bottle. Again, questions being asked on both the chat rooms here and on FB, that telecom companies are struggling to survive. There will be no bandwidth. We are choked with it. Is 5G really going to come in? And is this entire terrain that you're thinking about, is it because of 5G coming in? Okay, that's going some other platform. But I think high-speed internet is the question, and will that be bane of substance for even technology?
So I believe we are currently on a highest consumption level because everybody's sitting at home, they're consuming through their mobile and their laptop. And if you are able to see this session comfortably in last 1.5 hours, so I think if that has happened, it would then you can design the event with a peace of mind that it would sail it, that bandwidth will sail it.
So if that is the answer, then there is a question from Siddharth. Do you think virtual events will take away live events completely?
Not at all. It's not possible. Live experience would not it can't be replaced. Everything has a different charm, so that can't be replaced. But yes, I am sure that it would be an add-on. It would be a must-to-have add-on. 10 years back, when we started doing live streaming, we used to educate people about live streaming. Now I remember, like, we don't have to even educate. We just people know that they want what is live streaming, and every event want to go live with the content. Post COVID, I think people who are missing on the live streaming part, it would become their must-to-have thing on their list of deliverable.
Can I take something out of you for everyone here? And now that you have said, of course, the question is, can you give us an idea for BTL space, and can you give an idea for a MySpace, which we can take away and go and give to our customers?
See, my job was to show you the ingredients. Yes, with those ingredients, you can go BTL, or let's say you can go as crazy as possible. Idea was to educate you with the available tools and arms. When you go for the fight, you can use the respective arm for the respective situation, and that is the way to go ahead. So these tools are applicable to. These are not restricted to ATL or BTL. These are widely available to everyone. It's up to us how smartly we use them.
Okay. So on that note, I need to tell people that businesses, brands, and consumers are having to quickly learn the new way to operate in the coming month and the months post the COVID-19. Consumption patterns have been disrupted during the lockdown. Work from home and isolation has resulted in new online behavioral shifts and are beginning to take shape in both the virtual and the real world. Some of these patterns are going to be long-term, some are short-term, but we have here Siddharth Shah to thank to for bringing us what these technologies are and making it much more clear. Let's hope, Siddharth, event tech is the latest wave of consumer engagement and probably taking it ahead with one more plethora of products that we have in our stable. So thank you, Siddharth, for being here, and I will take it straight away to Ada. Beam you up.
Thank you, Vinod. Thank you, Ada.
Thank you so much, Vinod. Thank you so much, Siddharth. Wow, this was absolutely fantastic. As much as I have to say that virtual world only works on three senses and we miss out on three senses, so it's never going to take over the reality. But I have to say it's amazing to see what mind-boggling things can a technology do. Well, I'm very excited because I'm kind of hoping now that Imagine is going live, and I'm going to design my wardrobe quickly. That is the first thing we women do. But once again, thank you to everyone on the panel. And you please keep tuning in with us. Ema comes up with these wonderful series, as I have already told you about. Don't forget to come back sharp at 4 p.m. We are going to be here with the leadership series. Thank you so much. This is Ada Khan on behalf of Ema. Once again, thank you. Have a good evening.